Good morning. I want to speak to you today about killing that weak version of yourself. Too many people are living beneath their potential, not because they lack talent, not because they lack opportunity, but because they're holding on to an old version of themselves that no longer serves them. That version is full of excuses, full of fear, weighed down by insecurity and bad habits. It whispers, you can't do it, you'll never change, it's too hard. But that voice is a liar. It's time to put an end to that weak version of you. The stronger you is waiting, the disciplined you, the focused you, the bold, unstoppable, victorious you. But you can't walk in power if you're still entertaining weakness. You can't step into your destiny if you're dragging around excuses. At some point, you've got to make a decision. Do I stay stuck in the past? Or do I step into my future? Maybe you've been saying, I'll start tomorrow. Maybe you've been settling for less when you know you were created for more. But today is the day everything changes. Today is the day you rise up and take control. The old you was inconsistent. This new you is disciplined. The old you was afraid. This new you walks in faith. The old you made excuses. This new you makes progress. You may not feel strong yet, but strength isn't a feeling, it's a choice. You build strength every time you push past resistance, every time you keep going when you feel like quitting. Champions aren't born, they're made. In the moments when no one is watching, when they choose to keep fighting. So I'm challenging you, kill that weak version of yourself. Stop waiting for the right time, stop playing it safe, stop letting the past define you. This is your moment to rise. This is your time to step into the best version of yourself. And when you do, you'll look back and say, that weak version of me is gone and I'm never going back. Life will always present challenges. There will always be obstacles, setbacks, and moments that make you question whether you have what it takes. But deep inside, there is a strength that has been placed within you, a power that is greater than any opposition you will ever face. Too often, people accept defeat, not because they lack ability, but because they have conditioned themselves to believe they are not strong enough. They have settled for less than what was meant for them, simply because they have allowed struggle to define them instead of using struggle to refine them. You were never designed to live in a place of weakness. You were created for more. There is a reason why something inside you keeps pushing, why there is a constant pull toward greater things. That desire for growth, for success, for something more fulfilling is not random. It is a sign that there is more in you than you have been tapping into. If you were meant to live in defeat, you wouldn't feel that frustration when things aren't going right. You wouldn't feel that restlessness when you're stuck in the same cycle, seeing no progress. That frustration is not a burden, it is a gift. It is proof that there's a part of you that knows deep down you were meant to rise higher. The problem is many people get comfortable in their struggles. They settle into a mindset of this is just the way things are. They talk themselves into believing that their weaknesses, their fears, and their past mistakes are too big to overcome. Instead of fighting back, they adjust to living beneath their potential. They stay in environments that drain them, surround themselves with people who discourage them, and hold on to habits that keep them stuck. They stop believing that change is possible. But here's the truth. As long as you have breath in your body, you have the ability to break free. You do not have to stay in the same place. You do not have to repeat the same cycles year after year. It doesn't matter what your past looks like, what mistakes you have made, or what odds seem to be stacked against you. There is a power within you that is greater than every excuse, greater than every obstacle. Too often people think that success, strength, and confidence are reserved for a select few. People who have had better opportunities, better support, or fewer struggles. But the truth is, greatness is not something you were born into. It is something you step into. Every single person who has ever accomplished something great had to make a decision. Will I allow my struggles to define me, or will I rise above them? Will I let my circumstances dictate my future, or will I take control and change my story? There is no power in accepting defeat. There is no reward for staying in the same place, making the same excuses and allowing life to pass you by. The only way forward is to make a decision to stand up, to push back against limitations, to refuse to live small. Think about the people who have inspired you the most, the people whose stories move you, who have risen from nothing to achieve greatness. What do they all have in common? They did not let their struggles define them. They did not let their failures stop them. They refused to let life defeat them. And because of that, they were able to break through. You have that same ability. There is a stronger version of you waiting to be unleashed. A version of you that does not shrink back in fear. A version of you that does not settle for less than what you deserve. But you will never meet that version of yourself if you keep accepting weakness, if you keep making excuses, if you keep telling yourself that things will never change. Strength is built in the moments when you decide to push past the voice that says, give up. It is built when you wake up in the morning and choose discipline over comfort. It is built when you stop waiting for the perfect moment and start taking action now. You do not have to feel ready. You do not have to have everything figured out. You just have to take the first step. It won't always be easy. There will be moments when you feel tired, when you feel like the progress is slow, when you wonder if the fight is even worth it. But if you keep going, if you refuse to quit, if you commit to showing up for yourself every single day, you will begin to see the results of your efforts. You will begin to see that you were always capable of more than you thought. The most dangerous thing you can do is settle. Settle for a life that doesn't challenge you. Settle for a mindset that keeps you stuck. Settle for habits that are leading you nowhere. You are not here to merely exist. You are here to thrive. Today is the day you stop living in defeat. Today is the day you take back your power. The past is over. The excuses are no longer valid, and the time for change is now. That stronger version of you is waiting. It's time to meet them. Too many people go through life holding themselves back, not because they lack the ability or the talent to achieve great things, but because they allow doubt, fear, and uncertainty to dictate their decisions. They convince themselves that the timing isn't right, that they're not ready, that they don't have what it takes. Instead of stepping forward with confidence, they hesitate. Instead of pushing themselves beyond their comfort zones, they shrink back into what feels safe and familiar. And over time, they become stuck in routines that no longer serve them, stuck in patterns of thinking that limit their growth, stuck in a mindset that keeps them from reaching their highest potential. There comes a point where a decision must be made. Either they will continue letting hesitation and fear shape their future, or they will choose to rise above it and step into something greater. The reality is, every person is faced with moments where they must decide whether to push forward or retreat. Those who succeed are not the ones who never felt afraid or uncertain. They are the ones who refuse to let those feelings control them. They acknowledge the challenges, but they didn't allow those challenges to stop them. They recognized the risks, but they didn't let fear paralyze them. Instead of making excuses, they found solutions. Instead of waiting for the perfect moment, they took action where they were with what they had. Excuses will always be available. There will always be a reason why something is difficult, why it's not the right time, why waiting seems like the better option. But if waiting has never led to real progress before, why keep waiting? If hesitation has never produced growth, why continue hesitating? If fear has never moved anyone forward, why let it be the deciding factor in whether or not to take action? The truth is, excuses are nothing more than delays disguised as reasons. They offer comfort in the moment, but regret in the long run. They provide a way to justify inaction, but they do nothing to create a better future. The mind will always find ways to rationalize staying in the same place. It will tell a person they're too tired, too busy, too inexperienced, too late, too early. It will list all the possible ways things could go wrong, all the reasons why it's better to play it safe, all the dangers of stepping into something unknown. But while the mind is busy coming up with reasons to stay stuck, time is passing. Opportunities are being missed. Potential is being wasted. And before long, the only thing left is the realization that nothing changed, not because change was impossible, but because action was never taken. Every person has a choice. They can continue believing the excuses, allowing them to dictate their actions and keep them stuck in cycles of frustration, or they can decide that today is the day they stop allowing fear and doubt to control their future. They can decide that from this moment forward, they will no longer listen to the voice that tells them to wait, to hold back, to remain where they are. They can commit to taking steps toward their goals, even if those steps feel uncomfortable at first. They can push past hesitation and move forward, knowing that progress is only possible when action is taken. Growth doesn't happen by accident. It doesn't come from sitting still, from waiting for the right time, from hoping that one day everything will align perfectly. Growth comes from pushing beyond limitations, from challenging old ways of thinking, from choosing to act even when it's difficult. Every time a person chooses to break free from excuses and take action, they build momentum. Every time they move forward despite fear, they prove to themselves that they are capable of more than they thought. Every time they push past hesitation, they create a habit of courage that carries them further toward their goals. It is easy to stay where things feel familiar. It is comfortable to stick with what is known, to repeat the same patterns, to avoid anything that requires discomfort or risk. But comfort does not lead to progress. Familiarity does not bring transformation. Staying in the same place will never create a new outcome. In order to step into something greater, there must be a willingness to let go of what is holding things back. That means releasing the mindset that says, I can't. It means walking away from the belief that says, I'm not ready. It means refusing to accept the idea that says, maybe someday, because someday is not guaranteed. The only moment that is certain is the one that exists right now. There will never be a perfect time. There will never be a moment where every single thing is lined up exactly the way it's expected to be. But waiting for perfection is just another way of delaying progress. The people who achieve great things are not the ones who had all the right circumstances. They are the ones who made the most of the circumstances they had. They didn't wait for things to be easy. They didn't wait for a sign that everything would work out perfectly. They moved forward, knowing that action was the only way to make progress. The difference between those who succeed and those who remain stuck is not talent. It is not luck. It is not external circumstances. The difference is in the decisions they make every day. Those who move forward are the ones who refuse to accept excuses as an answer. They recognize that fear is part of the process, but they do not let it stop them. They understand that discomfort is necessary for growth, but they embrace it rather than avoid it. They know that success is not about having everything figured out in advance. It is about taking the first step and trusting that the rest will fall into place. No one ever became strong by avoiding challenges. No one ever achieved something great by staying in the same place. No one ever broke free from limitations by waiting for the perfect moment. The time for action is now. The time to move forward is today. The time to stop allowing excuses to define the future is this very moment. Because the only thing standing between where things are and where they could be is a decision. A decision to stop hesitating, to stop waiting, to stop allowing doubt to win. A decision to step forward, to take action, to commit to becoming the person that was always meant to be. Life is a constant battle between two forces. The version of yourself that wants to stay comfortable and the version of yourself that is striving for something greater. Every single day, decisions are made that either move you forward or keep you stuck. The small choices, the way you think, the actions you take, the mindset you adopt, shape the course of your life. Nothing happens by accident. Success, growth, and transformation are always the result of intentional choices. Too often, people go through life on autopilot. They wake up, follow the same routine, react to circumstances instead of creating them, and before they know it, years have passed without any real progress. They have dreams, they have goals, they have a vision for what their life could be, but they never take the steps necessary to bring those things to reality. Why? Because it's easier to stay the same. It's easier to do what is familiar. It's easier to avoid discomfort, to push off change until tomorrow, to stay within the limits of what feels safe. But comfort is the enemy of growth. Nothing great has ever been accomplished by someone who refused to step outside their comfort zone. Every person who has ever achieved something significant had to make difficult choices. They had to decide again and again that their future was worth more than their excuses. They had to push past the part of themselves that wanted to quit. They had to choose discipline over laziness, courage over fear, and persistence over giving up. They had to commit to becoming better even when it was uncomfortable. The problem is, many people are waiting for motivation before they take action. They think that one day they will wake up and suddenly feel ready to change. They believe that the right moment will come, that the fear will disappear, that everything will magically fall into place. But that's not how transformation works. Motivation is unreliable. Some days it's there, other days it's not. If you rely on motivation to take action, you'll never get anywhere. The key is not waiting to feel ready. It's taking action even when you don't feel like it. Every moment of hesitation is a decision to stay the same. Every excuse is a missed opportunity to grow. Every time you put something off until tomorrow, you are delaying the life you could be living. The truth is, there will never be a perfect moment. There will never be a time when fear isn't present. There will never be a situation where success is guaranteed. But those who succeed are not the ones who waited for perfect conditions. They are the ones who acted despite the uncertainty. The difference between those who achieve their goals and those who don't is not talent. It's not luck. It's not even intelligence. The difference is discipline. The ability to make the right choices even when they don't feel good. The commitment to doing what needs to be done even when it's hard. The willingness to sacrifice short-term comfort for long-term success. Discipline is what separates the people who stay the same from the people who grow. It is what allows you to push past obstacles, to keep going when things get tough, to develop the resilience necessary to achieve great things. But discipline doesn't happen overnight. It's built through daily choices. It's strengthened every time you do something difficult instead of taking the easy way out. Every time you wake up early instead of sleeping in, you build discipline. Every time you push through discomfort instead of quitting, you build discipline. Over time, these small decisions create a foundation of strength that allows you to accomplish anything you set your mind to. The reality is there will always be an excuse available. There will always be a reason to put things off, to delay progress, to justify staying the same. But excuses don't lead to growth. Excuses don't create success. Excuses don't build strength. Only action does. The people who reach their goals are not the ones who had the fewest struggles. They are the ones who refused to let their struggles stop them. It's not about making huge changes all at once. It's about making the small, consistent decisions that lead to transformation. It's about choosing every single day to be just a little bit better than you were yesterday, to push yourself just a little bit further, to do one more rep, make one more phone call, take one more step. It's the accumulation of these small efforts that leads to massive results. There will be days when you don't feel like it. There will be moments when you want to quit. There will be times when you question whether it's even worth it. But those are the moments that matter the most, because it's in those moments when you're tired, when you're frustrated, when you feel like giving up, that you have the opportunity to separate yourself from everyone else. Most people give up when things get hard. But if you push through, if you keep going, if you refuse to quit, you will achieve things that most people never will. Growth is not about being the most talented person in the room. It's not about having the best resources, the best connections, or the best circumstances. It's about being the person who refuses to stop, the person who does what others aren't willing to do, the person who makes the hard choices, who stays committed, who shows up every single day and puts in the work. At the end of the day, the only thing standing between where you are and where you want to be is the choices you make. Every choice is a step in one direction or another. Every decision is either moving you forward or keeping you stuck. If you want to create change, you have to stop waiting. You have to stop making excuses. You have to stop looking for the easy way out. You have to commit to doing the work, to making the sacrifices, to pushing past the resistance. Because the truth is, no one is coming to save you. No one is going to do the work for you. No one is going to hand you success. If you want something different, you have to take responsibility for your future. You have to be willing to put in the effort. You have to be willing to push past the doubt, the fear, the hesitation. You have to be willing to fight for the life you deserve. And the best part, you are capable of doing it. You have everything you need inside of you. You just have to make the decision. You just have to commit. You just have to take the first step. And once you do, once you start moving forward, once you refuse to let anything hold you back, you will discover that you were always stronger than you thought. You were always capable of more than you believed. And you were always meant for something greater. Every single day presents a choice to remain the same or to push forward. The path to transformation is not easy, and that is why so many people remain stuck in a cycle of complacency. They want change. They dream of a better life, but when the moment comes to act, they hesitate. They allow doubt, fear, and uncertainty to hold them back. They let negative thoughts convince them that progress is impossible, that their past defines them, that they will never be strong enough to become who they were meant to be. But the truth is, hesitation is the greatest enemy of progress. Every time a person hesitates, they strengthen the part of themselves that resists change. They give power to the voice of self-doubt. They allow the comfort of familiarity to override the call for something greater. And before they know it, weeks, months, or even years have passed without any real movement toward their goals. This is how people find themselves stuck in the same routines, trapped in cycles of frustration, wondering why they are not seeing the results they desire. The battle for growth is won or lost in the mind. The way a person thinks shapes the way they act. If they believe they are not capable, they will not even try. If they believe success is only for other people, they will never push themselves to achieve it. If they focus on their weaknesses instead of their potential, they will remain in a place of limitation. But just as negative thinking can keep someone trapped, the right mindset can set them free. The moment a person decides to take control of their thoughts, to shift their focus from fear to faith, from doubt to confidence, from weakness to strength, everything begins to change. One of the most dangerous things a person can do is allow their past to define their future. Too often, people look at their mistakes, their failures, their disappointments, and assume that these things are permanent. They tell themselves that because they have struggled in the past, they will always struggle. Because they have failed before, they will fail again. They allow past experiences to shape their identity, to limit their belief in what is possible. But the past does not have the power to dictate the future unless it is given permission to do so. Every person has a choice to let their past be a weight that holds them down or to let it be fuel that pushes them forward. The strongest people are not the ones who have never failed. They are the ones who refuse to let failure define them. They took every setback, every mistake, every moment of difficulty and used it as a lesson. They allowed their struggles to shape them, to refine them, to build the kind of strength that only comes through perseverance. Instead of running from challenges, they faced them head on, knowing that every difficulty was an opportunity to grow. Fear is another force that keeps people from stepping into their full potential. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of the unknown. These things keep people stuck in a place of hesitation. Fear whispers that it is safer to stay where it is comfortable, that taking risks will lead to pain, that it is better to avoid trying than to risk failing. But fear is a liar. It magnifies problems, exaggerates difficulties, and convinces people to settle for less than what they are capable of. The only way to silence fear is to move forward in spite of it. Every person who has ever achieved something great had to push past fear. They had to take action even when they were uncertain. They had to step into the unknown with nothing but faith that they would figure things out along the way. And every time they did, they grew stronger. Every time they refused to let fear win, they built confidence. Every time they moved forward, even when it was uncomfortable, they proved to themselves that they were capable of more than they thought. Growth requires sacrifice. It requires letting go of old habits, of excuses, of anything that no longer serves a purpose. It requires a willingness to embrace discomfort, to endure temporary struggle in exchange for long-term success. Too many people hold on to things that keep them stuck. Negative mindsets, toxic relationships, self-destructive behaviors, because they are afraid of what will happen if they let go. But nothing changes without sacrifice. To step into a new level, something has to be left behind. This is why discipline is so important. Motivation comes and goes. Some days the desire to push forward will be strong, other days it will be weak. But discipline is what keeps a person moving even when they don't feel like it. Discipline is what separates those who achieve their goals from those who only talk about them. It is what allows a person to push through fatigue, through frustration, through doubt. It is the foundation of every great success story. The people who succeed in life are not the ones who never struggled. They are the ones who refused to quit. They made a decision that no matter what came their way, they would keep moving forward. They understood that setbacks were part of the process, that failure was not the end, that every challenge was an opportunity to become stronger. They embraced the struggle, knowing that it was shaping them into the person they needed to be. There will always be reasons to quit. There will always be an excuse available. There will always be a reason to put things off, to wait for a better time, to stay in a place of hesitation. But those who achieve great things are the ones who refuse to listen to those excuses. They understand that there will never be a perfect time. They know that waiting only delays progress. They take action even when it is difficult, even when they are uncertain, even when it requires pushing past fear. At the end of the day, every person has to make a choice to stay the same or to grow, to hold on to limitations or to break free, to listen to fear or to step out in faith. The life you desire, the goals you want to achieve, the person you were meant to become, it is all within reach. But it will not happen by accident. It will require a decision, a commitment, a willingness to do what others won't. The greatest version of yourself is waiting on the other side of hesitation. It is waiting beyond fear, beyond doubt, beyond every excuse that tries to hold you back. The only thing standing in the way is the choice to take action. The moment you decide to stop letting fear control you, to stop giving power to doubt, to stop hesitating and start moving, everything will begin to change. You were not meant to live in defeat. You were not created to settle. You were designed for something greater. And the only thing standing between where you are and where you want to be is the decision to rise. Life is a series of choices. Every day a person has the opportunity to decide whether they will take a step forward or remain in the same place. Progress is never accidental. It is the result of intentional effort, discipline, and commitment. Many people desire change, but few are willing to do what is necessary to make it happen. They want success, but they hesitate to make the sacrifices required to achieve it. They dream of a better life, but they struggle to take consistent action. This is why so many people remain stuck in the same patterns, never fully stepping into their potential. The reality is that transformation is not easy. It requires a person to push beyond what is comfortable, to embrace challenges, and to let go of anything that no longer serves their growth. The process of becoming stronger, wiser, and more disciplined is often uncomfortable, but it is necessary. Growth does not happen in moments of ease. It happens in moments of resistance, When a person is challenged, when they are tested, when they are forced to step outside their comfort zone, that is when real transformation occurs. Many people underestimate what they are capable of because they have never truly tested their limits. They assume that struggle is a sign that they should stop, that difficulty means they are on the wrong path. But struggle is often the greatest indicator that a person is moving in the right direction. Every challenge, every obstacle, every moment of resistance is an opportunity to build strength. The people who achieve great things are not the ones who avoided struggle. They are the ones who embraced it. They understood that difficulties were not meant to stop them, but to prepare them for something greater. A common mistake that holds people back is focusing too much on what they cannot do instead of what they can do. They allow fear, doubt, and negative thinking to convince them that they are not capable. They compare themselves to others, measuring their weaknesses against someone else's strengths. They dwell on past failures, using them as evidence that they will never succeed. But none of these things determine a person's future unless they are given permission to do so. The only thing that truly matters is the decision to keep going. Success is built on consistency. It is not about making one big change overnight. It is about making small, disciplined choices every single day. It is about showing up even when it is inconvenient, pushing forward even when motivation is low, and refusing to let setbacks become permanent. The people who succeed in life are not necessarily the most talented, the most intelligent, or the most fortunate. They are the ones who were willing to do the work. They were the ones who refused to quit even when it was difficult. One of the greatest obstacles to growth is the need for immediate results. Many people start strong, full of energy and enthusiasm, but the moment they do not see instant progress, they become discouraged. They assume that if success does not come quickly, it must not be meant for them. But real transformation takes time. Strength is built over weeks, months, and years of consistent effort. The people who reach their goals are the ones who understand that progress is often invisible at first. They trust the process. They keep moving forward even when they cannot yet see the results. It is easy to be excited at the beginning of a journey, when a goal is fresh, when motivation is high, when everything feels new and full of possibility. Taking action seems effortless. But the true test of commitment comes when the excitement fades, when the process becomes routine, when progress feels slow, when obstacles arise. That is when many people give up. But those who persist, those who continue to show up even when it is difficult, are the ones who ultimately succeed. There will always be distractions, always be reasons to put things off, always be temptations to take the easy route. But success belongs to those who stay focused. It belongs to those who refuse to let temporary feelings dictate their long-term actions. It belongs to those who prioritize discipline over comfort. Every choice matters. The small decisions a person makes each day determine their future. Each time they choose discipline over distraction, they strengthen their resolve. Each time they push forward instead of giving up, they prove to themselves that they are capable. Many people wait for the perfect time to start. They tell themselves they will take action when they feel ready, when circumstances are better, when they have more time. But the truth is, there will never be a perfect time. There will always be challenges, always be reasons to delay, always be excuses available. The people who succeed are not the ones who waited for ideal conditions. They are the ones who started anyway. They took action even when they were unsure, even when they were afraid, even when it was inconvenient. Growth requires a shift in mindset. A person cannot continue thinking the same way, making the same choices, and living the same way while expecting different results. True transformation demands a new level of commitment. It requires a person to let go of limiting beliefs, to break free from negative patterns, and to embrace the discomfort of change. It is not easy, but it is always worth it. At the end of the day, the choice is simple. Stay the same or rise higher. Remain in a place of hesitation or step forward with confidence. Give in to doubt or push past every excuse. Success is not reserved for a select few. It is available to anyone who is willing to put in the work. The only question is whether a person is willing to make the sacrifices necessary to reach their full potential. The greatest version of yourself is within reach, but it will not come without effort. It will require discipline, determination, and an unwavering commitment to growth. The path will not always be easy, but it will always be worth it. Every challenge faced, every struggle endured, every moment of discomfort is shaping you into the person you were meant to be. And when you look back, you will realize that every difficult step was necessary to bring you to a place of strength, confidence, and success. So make the decision, commit to the process, refuse to settle, step into your full potential, and embrace the journey of becoming everything you were created to be. Every person has a choice in life, to stay where they are or to push forward towards something greater. The journey of transformation is not for the faint of heart. It demands resilience, discipline, and an unwavering belief in what is possible. Many people desire change, but few are willing to pay the price that real transformation requires. They dream of success, but struggle with consistency. They want to grow, but hesitate when faced with challenges. They long for a better future, but remain tied to old habits that keep them stuck in the past. The truth is, progress is not automatic. It does not happen just because someone wishes for it. It is the result of daily decisions, intentional actions, and a mindset that refuses to settle for less than what is possible. Too often, people allow distractions to pull them away from their goals. They start strong but lose momentum when obstacles arise. They become discouraged when results do not come as quickly as they hoped. They listen to the voice of doubt, allowing fear and hesitation to dictate their actions. But those who achieve greatness understand that setbacks are part of the process. They recognize that struggle is not a sign to quit, but an opportunity to grow stronger. A major reason many people fail to reach their potential is because they hold on to things that no longer serve them. They cling to negative mindsets, unhealthy habits, and relationships that drain them rather than build them up. They stay in environments that limit their growth because they fear the unknown. They allow past mistakes to define them instead of using them as lessons to propel them forward. But real progress requires letting go. It requires the willingness to release anything that stands in the way of becoming the best version of oneself. One of the greatest obstacles to growth is comfort. People naturally gravitate toward what is familiar, even when it is not beneficial. They prefer the safety of what they know rather than the uncertainty of stepping into something new. But nothing great ever comes from staying in a place of comfort. Growth happens in moments of challenge, in situations that stretch a person beyond their current limits. It requires stepping into the unknown, taking risks, and embracing the discomfort that comes with change. The most successful people in the world are not necessarily the most talented or the most intelligent. They're the ones who were willing to do what others would not. They were willing to push through discomfort, to keep going when it would have been easier to quit. They made a decision that no matter what obstacles came their way, they would not stop. At the end of the day, the choice is yours. You can continue living with the same habits, the same doubts, and the same limitations, or you can make the decision to rise higher. No one else can do it for you. No one else can break free from hesitation, push past fear, or step into your full potential. That responsibility is yours alone. The weak version of yourself, the one that makes excuses, the one that hesitates, the one that allows fear to take control, has no place in the life you are meant to live. It has held you back for too long. It has convinced you that you are not strong enough, not capable enough, not worthy enough. It has existed. But today is the day to silence that voice. Today is the day to take control of your thoughts, your actions, and your future. Your greatest self is waiting on the other side of discipline. It is waiting beyond fear, beyond comfort, beyond every excuse that has tried to hold you back. The only thing standing between you and the life you were meant to live is the decision to take action. The moment you choose to push past hesitation, to embrace the struggle, to stay committed even when it is difficult, that is the moment everything begins to change. You were not created to live in mediocrity. You were not meant to settle for less than what you are capable of. You have strength inside of you that you have not even tapped into yet. You have potential that is waiting to be unleashed. But it will not happen by accident. It will happen because you made the choice to kill every weakness that has held you back, to step into a mindset of discipline and to walk boldly into the future that is waiting for you. This is your moment. This is your time. No more waiting, no more hesitating, no more holding on to the version of yourself that is keeping you small. Make the decision today to rise, to grow, to step into everything you were meant to be, because the only thing standing in your way is the version of yourself that you are willing to leave behind.